right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 64 of Community Service Hour, featuring you. We got a new homepage for this right here. So we've got some extra podcast links here because these work now, and then we've got the notes links here. And I was trying to get a countdown in JavaScript, and I could not figure it out. So if anybody wants to help with JavaScript, that is where I'm stuck right now.
Hi guys.
Good to hear you.
I have a huge problem, and it's kind of complicated. Will you help me?
Let's hear it. Absolutely.
So I'm designing a platform that there is going to be community accounts, perks and promises. Perks can be free drinks, social IRL, free airdrop. These are tags, okay? Mm-hmm. And promises are also tags, but they are actually the value that the community has to offer, the promise that they're offering to the members who purchase their NFT as a ticket. Mm-hmm. Let's say this person writes a comment, but there's a double account problem because organizers are not able to review them, but some members, let's say that are their friends and they want to falsify her or his claim.
What do you mean falsify the claim?
Yeah, because she wrote a review that they promised me to teach me how to digital wallets, #promise name. And this will be upvoted or downvoted like a Reddit type of hierarchy. And the reviews are only open to RSVPs or the people who purchased the tickets. How can I prove that they were in the event? One quick suggestion actually came to my mind is what you do, Will. You put the names, handles, write them down, and you retweet them if they stay until the end, right? As a proof of concept, right? I want to do that too. I want to do that. I would like to issue a drip. That is a token it's a marketing name of my project. Let's say a drip to the participators who attendees that stayed until the end.
Let me run this back. So I want to understand what you're saying. So there's a community. It has individuals and also community accounts, multi-sigs, any of which can they can be an organizer and they can create an event. And so the promise is the thing that is upvoted, downvoted?
Yes, let me explain that part too, actually. So let's say I went to the event first event of that community, and I had a bad experience. And I write, hey, I couldn't learn how to do yield farming, #yield farming tag. And it's visible to the RSVP, but here's the catch. No one can upvote and downvote until they had an experience. X person come and she sub-reviewed it. Hey, I had a similar experience. So that's why #Web3 philosophy, I had a bad experience because I couldn't comprehend this. And she upvotes or downvotes that review. And that actually gonna be assigned as a total score of the community, because community score is gonna be, think about 5-star reviews. It's so stupid. So that's why I need a prover too that has a similar experience, even if it's a different tag, that I want to accumulate the votes as a total score of that community that is gonna be assigned to them.
So the community member is going to make a promise, which is a commitment. And the promise could be related to an event to teach something or something. And these promises are going to be...
Promises and perks are all tags.
Got it.
But only the functionality is really important when it comes to promises.
Got it. There will be some time. There's got to be an element of time here we're not talking about. At some point, the promise will be due. And then other people, they will be validating or refuting this promise delivery. So the voting power is predicated on their own score, karma or something, based on the events that they have attended or other ways that they have earned this voting power.
Can people review the reviews?
Yep. You have to have past event experience at a holder of a token or an NFT ticket. That's your voting power here that I'm trying to use. But that can be violated again. The reason because maybe this organizer has some fans in the community and they want to do a 51 attack to the other community member or that person. See what I'm getting at?
Now I've got the bad news. Somebody has to validate the attendance at the event.
That's the problem, because I cannot give the validator power to the organizer at this point because they can manipulate it. Who's going to be in charge? How I'm going to, take the drip token, issue the drip token to become a voice?
The answer is you cannot control this. One way is you can scaffold the system with trusted validators. That means you have specific people and only their votes count, and other people's votes don't count in a scaffolding phase of the project. And remember, the system we're building doesn't have to be the system that exists 10 years from now. So that's an important thing until you reach a point where you can open it up more. And then 2, the other way you can do it is nobody's votes count. You allow other people to decide the value of these things.
Let's say that they're attacking this, person who had a negative feedback about this community experience. Mm-hmm. She or he is claiming that they didn't keep their promises. Mm-hmm. Let's say that happened. And then the other community members got angry because they're let's say core community members or whatever, the people who are in kind of a group of friends. They want to upvote, downvote her or him. What about the time frequency to downvote her?
The modern solution is we're not doing downvoting anymore. Downvoting is going away. YouTube has gotten rid of downvoting. So we have upvoting and report.
Let's say that textual. I'm going to bring some AI stuff here, if that's okay.
Cool.
Connotation, language, relation between some kind of the letters and the words that she or he puts in feedback. Let's just correlate them as a point. Can an AI do that?
Absolutely. Sentiment analysis is there's an API for it right now in OpenAI.
I didn't know that. I was looking for that solution. Okay, and then that can be validator, and this is not going to be a human. That's going to be a more trustless state, right?
So they've trained it on Amazon. So they took all the reviews from Amazon, and then they correlated them to find out which phrases are going to be positive or negative sentiment. There's an article on this. This is a very well-studied problem. That's something I can't answer, so I'll have to use. And then here's another one.
Instead of downvoting it, you're saying that use the textual translation to the points and relate to that point to that hashtag promise and then assign as a distributed score.
Yeah, just give a score based on the upvotes. And for downvoting, that should be that's a different thing. If you have 1,000 upvotes and 1,000 downvotes, that's not a 0. That's a holy shit, there's 1,000 people that have a problem here. This is definitely a problem that's coming up a few times because people want to make a system. They want to make a rules-based system. They want something to be decentralized, which is a word that doesn't mean anything. And they want to have an objective or fair system. Nothing is objective, nothing is fair, nothing is decentralized because somebody has to make the rules. And the rules can be racist, the rules can be biased, the rules can be anything, right? Somewhere, the rules can be benefiting people that have tokens, asymmetric influence in any system, period. Systems cannot be designed fairly. You got to either be resilient or you have to be more value focused. The fairness doesn't come from the system. The fairness comes from the humans. Fairness isn't even a word. Fair is a human construct. There's got to be some external human influence that keeps the thing fair. If you're going to be judging people, if you're going to be, and you are judging people because you're badging them, you're giving them scores. If you're giving scores to people, there has to be a human element here. But just keep that in the back of your mind before you have the idea that you're going to create a system that's going to do all this for you.
I see. Thank you. I think that sentimental, that will be the solution for this because I don't need the prover or, second claim to kind of accumulate that negativity around that, because I don't want to do that too. Inclusivity, it has limits itself. But how we can, reach the maximizable capacity here.
Reminding you that neural programming, AI, It's only right most of the time. If you've got one review, it might be wrong. If you've got 50 reviews, it's going to be pretty right. Thanks for sharing. You've really brought a topic here that's very broad and that a lot of people are thinking about. So thanks.
Thank you to you too.
So Dan, wanted to ask you about your item here. I think this is yours.
But so we take notes during these calls, and it's a bunch of messy notes. When we upload everything to podcasts, then we need to use clear, specific format that Apple Podcasts use. There's a lot of different little pieces to that, including things like making the timestamps turn into seconds versus what is the output we get from YouTube, which is minutes, or from Twitch. And then writing a summary description of what happened in the event and a bunch of other things. We could have done it manually, but that's boring and old school now that we have ChatGPT to use. So we found a better way. So everybody knows we have the notes here. We have the timeline, agenda notes, and everything like that. But we need to put it into a specific format that looks very different. This is YAML. There's like a bunch of fields that need to be filled out. It has to be formatted perfectly. We have to pull out the YouTube links and the Twitter links, generate a timeline, also generate a description that can be used to describe what happened in the episode. So I had this really long thread of every episode just pasting in the notes and trying to get ChatGPT to come out with the perfectly formatted output. And through a lot of trial and error, we got to a specific prompt that we add at the beginning of every question that goes to ChatGPT, which basically tells it this is the format. And there's a lot of like weird specific things, like putting stuff in brackets and all caps and these little notes at the end, but they all help guide ChatGPT to come up with specifically what we want and avoid these other problems that it would come up with if you don't have these specific notes in there. That's the format, we tell it, and then we give it the raw data, which is the notes from a specific episode. And then at the end, just ask again to come up with the specific format according to the template. And generally, particular prompting method, it works and it gives us exactly what we need. And it comes up with pretty interesting, although often problematic descriptions for the episodes. Like it says, in this episode of Full Decent, it's called Community Service Hour, not Full Decent. But most of the time it's pretty good. And we've done it for every episode now, and it saves a ton of time because I don't want to calculate how many seconds are in 2 minutes and 19 seconds. But ChatGPT can do it, accurately and instantly for us. And I think this is just the beginning of more customized ways to use a tool like this. Like you come up with a very specific type of prompt that can help you do things that are repetitive, but it's not like what I was doing at the beginning where I would just ask without the trial and error of how to do all the notes and stuff. Like this is the first template I gave it. And then the raw data. And what it came up with is like, it's close, but if you look, like actually the way it calculated seconds are wrong. It didn't pull out the links. It didn't actually write a description for the episode. The publication date isn't formatted properly. But after like refining the prompt, then it gets it perfect every time. It's just a matter of a little bit of work to figure out what is the right prompt. Anyway, so that's what we do for notes in community service hours now, and it saves us a bunch of time. And I just thought it was really cool and wanted to share it with everybody because it's something that's relevant to how we do community service hour.
Can you show us an example of how you mark down the question, the input?
So this is the beginning of every prompt. It's the same every time. So we basically just give it the YAML template, but then for each of the fields, give it like a description of what's needed. I have to remind it again at the bottom that it's like what you're doing is generating a code block for the raw data according to the template format. And I say that at the beginning and then here and then at the bottom, because otherwise it'll kind of forget and think, I don't know, the template or following the template format isn't that important.
Yeah, they need to come up with a template of how to mark down the language. That would be a great service for the community. If they do that, that will increase their actually, usage too. If they teach them how to write textual code.